And now, for intimate moments with the Bodega Boys.
We get close, personal,
Very close.
and uncut with some of our celebrity friends.
That's right. Very, very, very close.
It's a little
intimate,
uncomfortable,
if you know what I'm saying.
but it's intimate.
Yes.
And it's an encounter.
Oh,
No clock watching, bitch.
no.
Yeah.
GFE.
Intimate encounters.
Intimate.
From the milk room.
Intimacy.
La leche.
La leche, papi.
Here we are, conversation piece live from
That's
the
right.
Jam Room and Milk Studios.
Inside the Jam Room
Inside
studios.
the Jam Room. This is our more serious discussions where
We jamming.
we bring in influencers and we talk about things like the aqueducts, the water situations,
Yes.
school boards,
Irrigation.
irrigation.
Yeah.
What's important to you about irrigation, A-Trak?
Drink more water. Volume 5. What was
True.
it?
I feel like everybody says that now. Like everybody's like, "Yo, drink more water." I mean, like it's true.
Yeah.
That's
But,
not.
like-
That's
Yo, but I was listening to some.
Oh, this is friend of the show before we get started. A-Trak in the building.
Hi.
A-Trak in the building.
Hello.
Trizzy. Trizzy.
Yo, but I'm definitely on some drink more water. And then I was listening to some Freakonomics thing the other day. And someone started telling a story about like how certain people can die from like overhydrating, and allegedly that's what Andy Warhol died out of, or something.
Oh, wow.
Wait, what?
He drank too much water.
Something like that. But
I
I think
thought
it
it
was
was-
like after some surgery. I don't know. I'm still drinking more water.
I thought it was-
If you drink too much, you pee it out. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Well, see, that was the problem when he was really popular, that you could drink too much water. Because people, like, when you were on E, you would, you'd want to drink water. But sometimes people would forget to drink water. So people would keep saying, I need to drink water. Need to drink water. And you end up drowning your brain. Because you can drink too much water to the point you drown your
You
brain.
waterboard
You
yourself.
waterboard yourself.
Yo,
That's like,
fucked
wow.
up.
That's
heavy.
Damn. How do you feel about output closing?
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
It's
Is it an iconic?
Yeah. No, that was an important club. I feel like when like Output, in a sense, to me, it's even more than just the club itself. I think when Output opened, it actually symbolized like the start of a shift in New York venues, where there started being more and more interesting venues in Brooklyn, and venues that were bringing in, certain types of house and techno DJs that didn't have too many options in New York before. It would be like Cielo or whatever.
Right.
That might be the only option before. So I know there's a lot of DJs that were grateful to Output just for, giving them a place to play, without compromising their style or whatever. I also feel like there's a counter argument of other stories of certain demographics not being let into Output now.
Yeah.
So we can't over.
We can't, shine up the apple, be like, oh, it was just have on the rosy colored lenses of the heyday, and like it
Right.
was all wonderful. Yeah, everyone has a good and a bad output.
I remember
story.
being turned away from many a club for wearing Dickies. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Dickies is.
that's formal wear in the Bronx.
You can't pull up to a club in Williamsburg at this day and age wearing Dickies. Well, actually, yeah,
You
some
probably
people can.
could.
You probably could.
You know what I'm saying? Carhartt, just roll them up mad high, like to your calf.
Oh
Over your
man.
ankle.
What's up with Fools Go? What you guys got going on?
Everything's good. We've been doing a lot of events out of the store lately.
Yeah, you guys who was just there? I seen it.
Well, yesterday there was an artist called Daniel Zender, and then but just over the last couple weeks, it's like every month there's some sort of art show. We did an art show with Chris Wilson, who did a lot of our sort of cartoon illustrations. And this guy called B. Tom Stevenson, who was like printing on Dickies, actually, speaking of Dickies. But then we'll do like mixtape release parties for our friends. Remy Banks dropped his project. We had that at the store. And then we'll host pop-ups for like our friends from LA. They do a magazine called Undo Ordinary, which is like a sort of like fitness and wellness magazine. They did their launch there. So pretty much every week there's some sort of event at the shop. Really just utilizing the space with a more community-minded approach, and just getting people to gather around at the shop and kind of just discover each other's projects. So yeah, that's been part of the focus. End of year is also end of the events. Obviously, just recently we had Fool's Gold Day off at Art Basel with Valet, and then myself and Manny Fresh. We did a back-to-back set.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Manny.
That was fun. Manny's
the
good time.
homie. I remember him from Fool's Gold.
Beat the pussy like a drummer chick.
Yeah. What's going on with the day offs? Because it seems like every year it's more cities and bigger and.
Yeah, it varies year to year. We tend to do like.
You don't have to be that. I know you're Canadian, but you do not have to be that humble. It's the new Woodstock.
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say that.
The way that we sort of position day off, because it's a trip to think about, like the what is it, 8-9 years since we started day off. The first one is 2010. So this was the 9th one, and when we started doing those parties back at City Winery, there wasn't really like a modern hip hop festival. It was the tail end of Rock the Bells, and even Rock the Bells was kind of like,
throwback.
Yeah, exactly. It would be like, come watch Wu-Tang do
Group Home. Yeah, come watch it do that. Right
Man,
with the
I wish
list.
I would go. I'd follow Group Home around in the van if I could.
Little Dapper, Malachi the Nutcracker.
Yo, like a dummy Bugs Bunny.
Boom, boom, explode. Yo.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, a kid the other day, he said that he found out about us from Fool's Gold. That time we hosted it. Because he was like, yo, Fool's Gold, like the day off, they always like unsigned talent and shit.
2014, Fool's Gold host.
That was literally, that was one of the first times I was like, yo.
That was the Bronxiest day off ever, by the way.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? French Montana headlining.
Remy Ma was there. Bobby Smurder.
We hosted the shit.
PIC was in the building.
You know what I mean?
That shit was,
That was fresh.
good time. But there was that moment with like the crowd, you couldn't even see the back of it. We was on stage.
Yeah, it was ill.
lights was coming out.
So even just looking at the path, like when we started Day Off, there wasn't a festival that was putting the newer artists on. I mean, even some of these newer artists, because in those early years, we would, like, for example, we brought Juicy J to New York right when he started doing his solo mixtapes. He hadn't done anything out of 3-6 Mafia until that year, and then when Juicy J came to New York and he was starting to poly with Rocky, like Rocky and the ASAP guys came on, but they were like new. Like Peso had just dropped that year. They hadn't even really played on bigger stages either.
Right.
So putting them on, Flatbush Zombies.
I remember Travis Scott.
Travis Scott played a bunch of our events. He played a bunch of our events. The LA ones, I think he did 2 of the LA ones and 1 of the New York ones. So it became really a sort of platform for. Oh yeah, for sure, definitely had Gleesh. Bronson, Migos really early on.
Yeah.
Migos twice. So it became a platform for like almost a rite of passage for the newer generation of artists to go and do a bigger show before they go and actually get booked at festivals. But what's funny is also in those years, a lot of rappers weren't even playing festivals. Period. Like it that wasn't even part of the consciousness. Yeah, it wasn't even like an available option for most rappers.
You just had to do BB Kings and that was it.
Yeah. A lot of times it would be like the club walkthrough sort of appearance where the flyer is like a stripper basically. And they get some sort of bag.
It's like,
they
yo,
go and show up in the VIP. Yeah, exactly. Mano in the VIP performing 3 songs. Or, maybe
Not even on stage, just standing on a chair. Like,
It's not even him. It's just a backing vocal, and he's just like,
yo, y'all know the words.
Exactly.
sing this shit.
That's what a lot of the shows were. Up until just the last couple of years. So I feel like Day Off really provided like a stage for that scene, and we would bring in, as you guys know, we bring in some of the DJs also and mix it up. And then when the
shout
whole
out to Brenmar, man.
Yeah,
His set on 2014 was bananas.
Yeah, he killed it exactly. Like just picking DJs like that can play more of an up-tempo set, but that'll appeal to a hip hop audience too. But that really grew fast to by the time we got you guys to host the event, and like you said, French was headlining, that venue, the Williamsburg Waterfront venue.
I gotta shake your hand for that, man, because that was like, yo, having French headline.
Yeah.
And I just recklessly dived into DMs like, yo, can we host this shit? And you were like, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
let's get it. Like, yo.
Was that the year where the Locks performed?
Yes.
The Locks, Cameron.
That
it
was
was like
that
very
lineup
that was wild.
And that was like an all day. Because remember, we got there, it was like maybe 2 o'clock and it was just started. And we were there all day.
Yeah,
and I remember you were just like, yo, just delay. Just keep the crowd. Just do a little light crowd work because we got something coming up. I can't tell you. And I was like, who could they possibly be? And he comes out, he's like, yeah, it's just Remy Ma, Bobby Schmurder, and somebody else. And I was like,
what? I just feel
but he was
I was like,
he was
oh
like,
shit.
yeah, just warm the crowd up, but don't tell them. I'm like, you guys just hold yourselves because someone's coming out. I can't tell you who it is.
The ill thing with Remy Ma, so there was like, for my set, I brought a couple guests out, right? So I brought Cam, actually McConan came out too.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And
I stood on a railing for that one for
nice.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Most of the guests were running late, but Remy, she was still, I think, on house arrest or something. So she and Papoose were like in the SUV right outside the venue, like on the corner of the street, waiting, but also watching their clocks, just being like, yo, we'll do this, but we have to be out of here by whatever, like 8 o'clock, because we got to be home by 9, because that's the law. So I remember there was like these opposing forces of like Remy being like, yo, I got to go on now because I have to go home, and all the other rappers being like, yo, I'm around the corner, I'm almost there. Trying to make it
Oh man, rapper time. There's no time like rapper time.
I know. I'm always like pleasantly surprised when someone's super punctual. I love all the stories of 50 being like really on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I've noticed
20
that
minutes early, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Put a coffee for you, like.
Exactly. I brought you this.
Anytime we have to do something in a venue and I get there like right, if they're like be there at like 6 and I get there at like 5:55 or something, or like get there right at 6, they're just like, holy shit.
Oh my
they're
God.
not ready for us. They're like, yo, I thought you'd be here in like 40 minutes.
Just have a seat in the green room. Would you like anything? Sparkling or still?
And that would happen a lot of times on our old show. Like rappers would, oh man, they'd be like, yeah, I'll be there at noon. And it's like 3 o'clock. You're like, oh.
Yo, you got the whole crew being like, do you guys want to wait until?
They'd be like, nah, I'll be there at 4:45. You're like, no one's waiting 4:45, man. Come on.
Yeah.
I gotta go home.
I wish I was a little more punctual. I'm not too bad, but I feel like I'm always 15 minutes late no matter what I try.
Well, 15. You know what? At your
that's
point in
just
the career,
I don't know. But
you got the 15. You've earned the 15.
I guess. I would love to actually be on time.
I would,
15 minutes is that point where like you don't get the phone call yet. No one's really mad, but I'm still sort of like,
15 minutes in New York and LA is like an implied lateness.
Yeah.
It's like an implied lateness. It's like, listen, you have to leave some wiggle room in the appointment for traffic or Uber delay or whatever. 15 minutes, that's the cutoff. You don't have to explain it. You could just come and you could just do like an exasperated like, or like, ooh, what a journey or something like that, and the person can't say anything.
Traffic was a mess.
Yeah, because actually,
when I tell you my story, sit down.
On the surprise guest tip, at one of the LA days off, we had Chief Keef come out, and his manager was there really early, and then his manager was just trying to call him all day on some like, yo, come, just pull up to this thing, but it was basically on some like waiting till he wakes up kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, should be waking up anytime.
Oh man.
And then, and actually, yeah, Travis was performing that day, and Travis's album had just leaked. I think maybe it was day before Rodeo. I don't remember. And there was a song with Chief Keef. They'd never performed it. Like it literally leaked that day, and Keef got in like just magically on, like right at the point when Travis was hitting the stage, right? Like we'd been waiting for Keef for like 5 hours or something.
Yeah.
He gets there just serendipitously on some like, I'm here.
to
And
do this
walks
song.
on stage with Travis to do the song. And then he just stayed on stage and was like really friendly. Everybody thinks that Keith is like scary because of all the guns that
and
we've
stuff.
seen.
Yeah.
Which, is a good point, good argument. But that day, I remember he came up to me, put his arm around my shoulder, like in my ear. He's like, "We gotta do more shit together." And then he grabs the mic. He's like, "Hey, how's everybody doing out there?"
Is it Rodney Dangerfield?
Hey!
It's like, I just flew in from Chicago, and boy, my arm's tired.
Give it up for the troops.
Yeah, exactly. He was that guy. It was amazing.
Yeah, that's
I love
wild.
it.
Yeah. And then the show ends, and I'm like, yo, let me get your contact. We should keep in touch. And he grabs my phone and he put his name in as Otto, which is great. That's one of his aliases. But I'm like,
wow.
shit, he saved his name as Otto.
Making up new. I start doing shit like that.
Yeah.
Word. I just put a different name for every fucking contact.
What else you got coming up for 2019? Any big projects you're particularly excited about?
There are some, but I have a thing.
A Dembo album?
Oh, wow. That would be fun.
Starting the Bodega Boys?
Yeah, doing promo at hookah bars only.
Yes. You got P.O. on the hook.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, a couple projects. Nothing I can really divulge too much of now, but definitely.
Yeah, we know about that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
couple collaborations with rappers, one of which that's been anticipated for a while, I think. So that's gonna come out. I mean, my thing now, as far as my music, is like, because I have so many different kinds of things that I want to do and different ideas and different even genres, and like sometimes working with like a really new rapper and other times working with like sort of OG that no one can get to and blah, blah, blah. I'm really trying to turn everything into like at least little projects, whether it's an EP or something like that, or compilations, rather than just putting off stray one-off singles. Because I think nowadays, even with like the way that streaming is sort of like accelerates everything, and there's so many releases every week, you know, I think like one-off songs barely get noticed. Right. So like I'll take my time, and like if I work on one song with one person that goes well, rather than just putting that out, I'll take a few extra months to like turn that into like a 5 or 6 song thing and present it as a whole little world into
EP,
itself,
right,
a little EP, short album kind of thing. And put out like these ideas that are more hashed out. So like a lot of this year has been spent setting up a few things like that, where I can get these projects out this coming year and have it fleshed out. Because I like that, even that, the sort of curation that goes into turning something into a project as opposed to like one quick idea. That's a big part of what I enjoy doing too. And so like on the house side, I'm doing like a compilation with this British label that I really like. And then on the rap side, there's a few rappers I've been like doing that type of like EP short album thing with. So that's kind of been my focus with music. So between, you know, running the Fool's Gold stuff, doing my remixes, touring like every week, and the Goldie Awards, which you know about,
gang,
you know what I mean?
Second year in a row.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Thanks for having it again.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah,
so much fun.
That's kind of been the majority of what's been on my plate.
Speaking of Goldie Awards, man, like a lot of like for the uninitiated, my man is a true turntablist. I don't know if that's a cool term or like a lame term.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Still stands.
Still stands. That's how you got your start, essentially, right? It was like cutting up records and like 100%. You know what I'm saying, like doing like the technical stuff like that. Like I feel like people don't really appreciate that anymore.
Yeah, it's
like I feel like you're one of the guys that's like keeping it alive.
That's 100% my mission is keeping that alive, because people appreciate it when it's presented to them, but I feel like I have to stage these little things to get people's attention to even look at it. Like when a turntablist routine or scratch routine or whatever is like done right, everybody flips out, because there's always something fun about hearing a song that you recognize and then hearing the way it's flipped. Like and that's a part of doing it right, I think, as opposed to just going straight into like crazy acrobatics.
Right.
When you know how to set it up, people get into it. It's just not really part of what most DJing is nowadays. So like, you know, I try to come up with ways to just put that in front of people's eyeballs. But yeah, that's 100% how I got my start. Growing up in Montreal, getting into scratching, just however the hell it happened, just, you know, figuring out that I had a knack for scratching records, and entering these battles really young and learning like the most technical side of DJing first. Like I couldn't get into clubs, so I wasn't playing club sets. I wasn't like rocking parties. I was just figuring out the most complicated scratches in my parents' basement and like building up this arsenal of tricks, and started entering battles. And I didn't even expect it to go as far or as quick as it did, but I was world champion at 15 and all this stuff happened really fast. And that's how I got my name out, and everything else kind of came from that. But it's a trip to think back at you know what I learned from doing those battles, because I think there's certain lessons that go even beyond like strictly speaking the battle itself or the tricks. Like there's definitely a mental side to, you know, competitive kind of anything. Like it's similar to being like an Olympic athlete when you're at the world finals of something, and there's all this, you know, all these distractions around you, but you have one chance to pull off your routine.
You're just like Michael Phelps in the corner listening to Future, like
yes. Yeah,
I'm ready.
And in those years, I was listening to Mobb Deep because it was just like
to get you ready. Yeah,
but definitely psyching myself up listening to like Hell on Earth before walking on stage, and then you learn to just block shit off. And I think like in a sense, being an artist nowadays or running a record label nowadays or whatever, being in this scene that we're all in nowadays, there's so much noise around us everywhere, and it feels like almost more than ever there's like forces that pull people and make people feel like they should be doing this because this other person did that. This person is making, I don't know, video shorts on their Instagram. Maybe I should do that. Like all that kind of Me Tooism that happens for, even for DJs. This person did a record with that artist. Maybe I should do that too. Everybody tends to feel that way. And I think maybe I've benefited a little bit from like my early years being a battle DJ because I could just block shit off and like stick to my plan. And I know that like that's really essential in the long game, because like at any given point it could feel like you need to participate in something or another thing, and then 3 months later, no one's even into that anymore.
Yeah, you're like, let's do that. Yeah. And
So
then you can't have to look back 3 months later like, damn, I did that.
Damn,
I balanced a tennis ball on my head on Instagram for this.
Right.
You said there's a...
So I've never planked.
Right. Wow, that was a moment. That was a moment. A lot of y'all need to go on your Facebook right now and look at your folder and be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah.
I was planking on Bourbon Street. What was I thinking?
What's wrong with me? I'm filthy.
Right.
All right.
You probably only about deleting those old tweets that you're embarrassed.
Yes.
Deleting your planks.
Old memes.
Your planks. Oh, your plank.
Now,
your plank
Wipe your plank
do you
history.
feel like... I feel like lately now, music is coming out way too fast.
Yeah.
And it's at a volume that's just like...
It's not consumable.
You're always
It's
listening to, you're always finding new artists. You're always like on the cutting edge of like new sounds. How do you still make time to listen to all the new music that comes up? Like,
Is it people bringing it
process?
to you? Are you searching it out yourself?
It's a little bit of everything. Yeah. And on any given week, as a DJ, I feel like I have to be aware of all the new music that comes out and, pick out the songs that I might put into a set. But like you said, I also, am trying to find new stuff that people aren't even really up on. And there's not even really a method to it. It becomes part of like parts of my day all the time. Where
Right.
if I like, it might even be like on a cab ride to the airport. I'll just browse through a couple playlists on Spotify and just try to catch up with whatever is like commercially out, and then I'll have a little bit of time at a hotel room before a gig. I'll go search a little bit deeper for some new shit, or even just trade music with other DJ friends or that kind of thing. I mean, because I think part of what's wild with music discovery and even DJ selection in general now is that everyone has access to the same stuff. So it's like it's kind of harder to find new things. But at the same time, it's so easy to put music out that a ton of people are putting new shit out.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
out there. It's somewhere out there. So it just takes a lot of searching, but also, bouncing ideas, trading stuff with other friends, and just seeing like, yo, are you up on this? Are you up on that? And inevitably it all kind of connects to certain things that you'll discover. It's just this ongoing process. Yeah.
Is there like a particular new genre or like old genre or sub-genre or whatever that you're like excited about? Like, that you see like a lot of bubbling?
I mean, if
growth in?
anything, like as far as the electronic side of what I do, like one thing that I like right now is that there's a like sort of classic house music is having a moment,
That
and
boom, 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 boom.
yeah, that shit,
Boom,
and
boom, boom, boom.
that and that never goes away, and I like to make house music, and like all the Duck Sauce shit that I did was sort of in that spirit, and a lot of my remixes are at that tempo. And when EDM became really, really big a couple of years ago, and there was like different subgenres of that were blowing up, and also like kind of flashier, more commercial sounds that were in the forefront that were sometimes kind of cheesy. That was a thing for a while, and now that's kind of like that bubble burst a bit. I like the fact that house,
It's going back to like La
Yes.
India vocals and shit, like Masters at Work shit. Like
100% soulful house, like the Masters at
yeah.
Work shit, that survived, and that's sort of like still there, like on some flag bearer shit. And
Yeah.
like that's the shit that I like to do anyways. So I'm psyched about even just more of that. Yeah.
I'll fuck around and sit in my basement high as shit and go on Instagram Live and just go in and just play like the best of Masters at Work. Like
That's dope.
people are like, yo, what's wrong with you? Like, you listen to my TT's music. I'm like, I grew up on this shit. I was like, I lived in a crib with 30 people.
Yeah,
Like,
but that's the aspect of house music that is clearly kin to hip hop. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's soul samples and disco samples. It's all the same family. Like there's definitely parts of electronic music that branched into like their own thing. But if you listen to Masters at Work type of house, like there's it's obviously like whatever record they sampled, there's probably another record on that album that was sampled by Just Blaze. It's the same family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we want to thank you for coming through, my guy. A-Trak.
Thank you.
Come through to the. Oh, you about to. Hey, no music. See now I've lost it. Now he's. I don't know. Are you at Sound Factory? You at Pasha? Where you at right now, my guy? You with Boris? You gonna come join us?
I was about to say Boris. Yo,
and
the black gold of the sun. Remember New Eurekan Soul? Damn.
Oh man.
Wow, you took deep crates, Mero.
I'm digging in the crates right now.
Yo, Serato. Oh, A-Trak, we want to thank you for coming through, man. Looking forward to the 2019 new projects.
Yep.
Fool's Gold.
Fool's
Still got the store at Williamsburg, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Give them the address.
That's right.
147 Grand Street in Williamsburg.
They're still there. Doesn't
Pull
matter
up.
if the L train's shutting down.
You know what I'm saying?
Still pull
there,
up.
still
there. Not
There
going
was
You know what I
one
mean?
time a very illustrious event that happened there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
guys had one. Like I think you had the biggest turnout of any of our.
That was wild.
That was
Yeah,
wild. I was like,
Shout
I pulled
to
up.
the
I was
Fool's Gold
like,
store. Always hold it down there, man.
Yeah, come through. We got in stores pretty much every week. More Fool's Gold Day Off and a lot of new artists. By the way, there's a Tabby Wakes tag right there. She's one of our newer artists. Her single just came out. Her EP comes out in January.
All right.
shout out to Tabby Wakes, yo.
Shout out to Tabby Wakes.
Tabby Wakes, come through.
You know what I'm saying?
Fool's Gold, A-Trak in the building.
Yeah.
Bodega
Bodega
Boys.
Boys.
You dig.